California's most feared fault just revealed shocking new signs. Scientists warn the San Andreas may be getting ready for a massive quake.
Scientists are now sounding the alarm over a rare kind of earthquake that could shake California harder than anything we've seen before. They're called Supershear quakes.
California's most feared fault line just revealed new secrets, and what scientists uncovered is more terrifying than anyone imagined. From supershear quakes to strange underground tremors, the San Andreas fault may be preparing for a disaster that could change America forever. What if the ground beneath your feet isn't as solid as you think? What if right now, a force buried deep below California is rewriting the story of the American West, not just shaped by drought and fire, but by a restless seam that could tear the state apart in seconds. Stretching more than 800 miles, the San Andreas fault is both awe and terror, a ticking time bomb beneath Los Angeles, San Francisco, and countless smaller towns. For decades, Californians feared the big one, but many believed it was distant myth. That illusion is gone. In recent years, new seismic data has revealed signals never seen before. Low-frequency pulses, microquakes clustering like whispers of something deeper. And most terrifying of all, the possibility of supershear earthquakes. Ruptures so fast and violent that the shock arrives like a sonic boom, striking before warnings can even be issued. Could California be standing at the edge of a new seismic era, where unthinkable quakes are no longer science fiction, but imminent reality? And if so, how do you prepare for a future where the Earth itself can strike twice? Chapter 1. Supershear earthquake threat. When most people imagine an earthquake, they picture shaking floors, rattling dishes, maybe a few seconds of violent jolts before the ground settles. But what if California's most feared fault line could unleash something faster, stranger, and far deadlier? An earthquake so violent, it outruns its own seismic waves. This isn't science fiction. It's the chilling reality of a supershear earthquake, a phenomenon scientists now warn the San Andreas fault may be primed to deliver. In a supershear event, the rupture front races along the fault at speeds faster than seismic waves can travel. Imagine a fighter jet breaking the sound barrier and producing a thunderous boom. Now imagine the Earth itself doing the same, but instead of sound, the shockwave is made of raw destruction. By the time shaking reaches the surface, the rupture has already outpaced it, delivering devastation with little to no warning. And here's the worst part. Supershear quakes strike twice. Researchers call it a double blow. First comes the rupture itself, shredding foundations. Then an even sharper pulse follows, like a sledgehammer crashing into a wall already broken. Buildings designed to handle ordinary quakes may fail instantly under this two-stage attack. New research from Caltech shows that sections of the San Andreas fault contain long, straight runways of dense rock, perfectly aligned for supershear ruptures. The geology is primed, stress is locked in place, the energy buildup is immense. Supershear quakes have already been observed in Turkey and China. Now scientists warn California holds all the same ingredients. What happens when Los Angeles or San Francisco is hit not by one quake, but by a supershear quake? Will skyscrapers sway or topple? Will highways split or vanish beneath collapsing bridges? The haunting truth. Our defenses were built for yesterday's earthquakes, not tomorrow's supershear. Chapter 2. The Earth's hidden pulse. Beneath California's rolling hills, vineyards, and bustling cities, something unsettling stirs. a rhythm too deep for human senses. Scientists call them low-frequency tremors, but to the untrained eye, they are invisible, silent. They don't topple dishes, they don't wake people in the night. Yet seismometers whisper the truth. The San Andreas fault is pulsing like a hidden heartbeat. These tremors are unlike ordinary quakes. They move too slowly to create sharp jolts, too faint for us to feel. But their danger lies not in what they are, but in what they mean. Each slow slip transfers stress, redistributing strain across the fault, winding the spring tighter, preparing the fault for something far more violent. Imagine a bowstring being drawn back, not in seconds, but over hours or days. Quiet, steady, relentless. What happens when it finally releases? In recent years, monitors have captured clusters of these pulses beneath populated regions, outside Los Angeles, deep under the Central Valley, and even creeping toward the San Francisco Bay. Some last for hours, some for days, stretching the Earth's crust in eerie slow motion. Locals never notice, but scientists watching the data know the truth. The fault is alive, restless, moving beneath their feet. The technology to detect these tremors has only recently become available. Fiber optic cables threaded through bedrock, borehole seismometers buried deep underground. Together they've revealed a world we never saw before. Sometimes these tremors correspond with subtle rises in groundwater or millimeters of uplift at the surface. To the naked eye, nothing changes. But to scientists, it's the Earth breathing before the scream. Could these pulses be warnings? Are they foreshocks stretched in time, subtle signals that the fault is preparing for a catastrophic release? Or are they simply the restless whispers of a fault that never sleeps? One thing is certain, these signals are increasing, and with every pulse, every hidden heartbeat, the San Andreas sends a message we can no longer ignore. Subscribe now to uncover how these tremors could connect to the big one, because when the Earth decides to strike, silence may be the only warning.
Chapter 3. The long rupture risk. For decades, experts assured Californians that the San Andreas fault would rupture in segments, that the fault would zip apart in shorter stretches. Manageable disasters, terrible but limited in scope. Los Angeles might get hit one year, San Francisco another, but never both at once. Emergency plans, insurance models, and even Hollywood's earthquake movies were built on this idea. But in the last few years, new research has shattered that fragile comfort. Evidence shows the San Andreas may not respect those boundaries. Instead, it could rip through multiple segments at once, an end-to-end rupture stretching hundreds of miles, devastating multiple regions simultaneously. Recent drill samples pulled from deep within the fault reveal smoother, more continuous slip surfaces than scientists once thought. Barriers that were supposed to block quakes from spreading appear weaker, more porous. This suggests the fault may act not as broken pieces, but as one monstrous system. And if that's true, the big one could be even bigger than we imagined. Picture this. Highways in Southern California buckling at the same time skyscrapers sway in San Francisco. Imagine power lines snapping in Los Angeles while bridges crumble into the bay. Imagine hospitals in San Bernardino overwhelmed as San Francisco's waterfront collapses, all in the same moment. How do emergency services respond when the entire state shakes at once? Global quakes have shown this before. Now scientists warn the San Andreas may do the same. If the fault can rupture nearly end to end, California's disaster planning needs rewriting. Insurance markets, food and water logistics, military readiness, all could be tested at once. So here's the question. Are Californians preparing for one city's disaster while ignoring the possibility of a quake that could break the entire state? Chapter 4. Urban vulnerability exposed. California prides itself on resilience. Its skyline is filled with sleek skyscrapers designed to sway, bridges engineered to bend,
and homes retrofitted for survival. Earthquake drills are routine. Early warning apps buzz on millions of phones, and the public believes the state is as ready as it can be. But what if all of those defenses were built on the wrong assumptions? Supershear earthquakes don't play by the rules. They deliver shaking faster, harder, and wider than building codes account for. The intense, high-frequency energy spreads farther, smashing structures engineers once thought secure. Models suggest bridges could snap in seconds. Gas pipelines could rupture, sparking fires that rip through neighborhoods. Older brick buildings, common in historic districts, could collapse instantly. Even modern skyscrapers, designed with ordinary quakes in mind, may fail under the double strike of supershear. And here's the chilling part. California's proud early warning system may not save lives in this scenario. Supershear ruptures move so fast they can outpace surface waves. That means alerts could arrive too late, or not at all. Imagine standing in downtown Los Angeles when your phone buzzes, only to realize the ground is already splitting beneath your feet. Researchers have run simulations of these events for cities like Los Angeles, San Bernardino, and San Francisco. The results are staggering. Shaking spreads wider, faster, and more violently than ever planned for. Emergency responders admit they could face dozens of simultaneous fires, collapsed highways, ruptured water mains, and overwhelmed hospitals, all before communication networks even recover. But the danger isn't only physical. The psychological blow of such an event could fracture communities. Entire neighborhoods could be displaced overnight. Insurance systems could collapse under losses. Millions might even choose to leave California altogether. Chapter 5. Ocean's Silent Alarms. When most people think of the San Andreas Fault, they picture deserts, mountains, and crowded cities, but the truth is more unsettling. The fault doesn't end at California's shoreline. It plunges into the Pacific Ocean, vanishing beneath waves that hide some of its most mysterious dangers. For years, scientists focused on land-based risks, while the ocean side remained a blind spot. But in the last decade, a new generation of ocean floor sensors has revealed a hidden world of seismic signals. Micro-ruptures echoing along the seabed, faint rumbles deep under submarine canyons, and occasional clusters of motion that hint at fault activity we can't yet fully explain. These aren't just curiosities, they're warnings. Undersea ruptures may not unleash towering tsunamis like subduction zones in Japan or Indonesia, but they can still destabilize the seafloor. Landslides beneath the Pacific shelf could displace massive volumes of water in seconds, sending localized surges crashing into harbors and coastal towns. Imagine piers collapsing in Long Beach, container ships thrown off balance in San Pedro, or seawater surging through low-lying neighborhoods of San Francisco, all within minutes of a hidden offshore rupture. Ports are especially vulnerable. California's coastal economy depends on harbors that handle billions in goods every year. A single undersea quake could cripple shipping lanes, damage oil terminals, or shut down trade for weeks. Coastal infrastructure, from freeways hugging the shoreline to aqueducts carrying water inland, sits on ground that could liquefy if the seabed shifts violently. And yet, most Californians have no idea this threat even exists. They prepare for inland quakes, not oceanic ones. But the Earth doesn't draw neat boundaries between land and sea. The San Andreas doesn't stop. It keeps moving, silently, beneath the waves. Chapter 6. Unlocking the Big One. For generations, the Big One has lived in California's imagination like a ghost. Spoken of in classrooms, dramatized in Hollywood films, and whispered about by residents every time the ground trembles. For many, it's a legend, a worst-case scenario that might never come. But new research has stripped away that illusion. The San Andreas Fault isn't just capable of a massive quake. It may be preparing for one even larger than anyone dared to predict. For decades, experts assumed the fault would rupture in segments, limiting the damage to smaller regions. But recent discoveries show the San Andreas is more continuous, more locked and loaded than older models ever suggested. Studies reveal that stress is building along vast stretches of the fault at once. In other words, instead of a series of regional quakes, California could face a single, monstrous rupture spanning hundreds of miles. This wouldn't just be the big one, it would be the biggest one. Imagine a quake starting near the Salton Sea in Southern California. Within minutes, the rupture tears northward at supershear speeds, ripping past Los Angeles, climbing through the Central Valley, and racing all the way towards San Francisco Bay. Bridges collapse, highways split, gas pipelines ignite in multiple cities at once. Millions are plunged into darkness as power grids fail, while fires spread across neighborhoods already trapped by crumbled roads. And it wouldn't end quickly. A rupture traveling hundreds of miles could last minutes, not seconds. Long enough for skyscrapers to sway like metronomes. Long enough for entire families to huddle under tables, praying the walls around them hold. The myth of the big one has always haunted California, but the new reality is worse. The San Andreas may be primed to deliver an event so vast, so simultaneous, that no city is spared.
Chapter 7.
Warnings from the Earth. The Earth does not speak in words, it speaks in signals. And right now, the San Andreas fault is sending messages that scientists can no longer ignore. Supershear simulations, low-frequency tremors pulsing like a heartbeat, microquakes clustering where stress is highest, even faint rumblings beneath the Pacific, as though the ocean itself is warning California of what's coming. Individually, these discoveries are alarming. Together, they form a picture that chills even the most seasoned experts. The San Andreas is not quiet. It is restless. Its signals are multiplying, pointing toward a fault more dangerous and unpredictable than we ever believed. California's future depends on how seriously we take these warnings. Do we invest in stronger infrastructure, deeper research, and better preparedness? Or do we dismiss the signals as background noise, waiting until the Earth itself forces us to listen? Here's the haunting truth. The San Andreas fault has been quiet for too long. And in geology, silence is never safety. It's suspense. So the ultimate question remains. Are these whispers from the Earth simply noise? Or are they the countdown to a disaster that could rewrite California's history forever?
Chapter 8. Shifting ground and hidden water. As if supershear quakes, long ruptures, and ocean alarms weren't enough, a new mystery is emerging along the San Andreas. The silent movement of groundwater and shifting land. Satellites using in-SAR radar have detected subtle uplifts and sags, millimeters of change across wide swaths of California. To the untrained eye, the ground looks still. But in reality, the Earth is flexing. What's driving it? Researchers believe shifting groundwater levels deep beneath the fault are playing a role. Water seeps into fractures, lubricating the fault, sometimes delaying ruptures, other times priming them for violent release. In some cases, these underground reservoirs may even amplify stress by swelling and shrinking like hidden balloons of pressure. Imagine this. A farmer wakes one morning to find his irrigation pond drained. The water vanished into invisible cracks. Weeks later, a low-frequency tremor ripples through the same region. Was the water movement a precursor? A silent alarm that the fault was repositioning itself? The ground may look still, but beneath it, something is stirring. And when it finally moves, California may discover that water and earthquakes have been partners all along.
What terrifies geologists most is the possibility of cascading effects. If groundwater shifts destabilize the land, the surface above, roads, bridges, even homes, could buckle without warning. And if water lubricates the fault at the wrong time, it could trigger slips earlier, faster, and more violently than models predict. Are these subtle shifts the Earth's way of releasing pressure? Or are they the final adjustments before a catastrophic rupture? One thing is certain, the San Andreas isn't just cracking rock, it's moving the very water beneath California's feet. And when land and water shift together, the result could be catastrophic. Don't look away. Comment your thoughts, share this video and subscribe, because the San Andreas fault is speaking, and the world needs to hear it.